There's still a chance for a release of the chemical again. And strapped for cash and looking for work, singer R. Kelly asks a judge to leave the country. What he's asking for: to travel outside of the U.S. The flames are out and crews are well into their work removing benzene from a storage tank at the ITC Deer Park location. This morning, a reading at the plant shows there was a small benzene release just after 4:30. It was not enough to call for a shelter in place. Hello, everyone. I'm Ron Trevino. Intercontinental Terminals Company still working to clean up the aftermath of that fire that started on Sunday. But there could be more releases as they work to remove that potentially harmful chemical. David Gonzalez has the latest.
ITC and environmental officials continue to assure the public that the air is safe to breathe following that benzene scare. In their latest update, officials say that the tanks continue to drop in temperature and that they're beginning to transfer the pie gas from the damaged tank to another one in another part of the facility. That tank still has about 20,000 barrels of gas in it. Officials say the whole process can take 8 to 12 hours to finish. This is how it will all work. A pump will go through the protective foam blanket and into the pie gas. The process could create some additional dangers. Benzene vapors could escape when the foam is disturbed. Officials, though, say that air monitoring continues.
Since we started on Sunday, we probably had about 250 different locations downwind of the incident from the start on Sunday. And we've only had 3 detections of volatiles or benzene above 1 part per million.
But this morning, one of the monitors detected a spike in benzene levels at 4 times of what the company considers to be safe. The EPA says they're going to look into this. The Chemical Safety Board, a federal agency, is expected to come in and investigate what happened before, during, and after the ITC fire and the benzene scare. For the latest updates on what is going on, stay with KHOU.com. In Deer Park, I'm David Gonzalez, KHOU 11 News.
Many of those same schools that closed yesterday are closed again as a precaution. That includes Deer Park, LaPorte, Pasadena, Channelview, Sheldon, Galena Park, and Goose Creek ISDs, as well as Lee College, the Richard Milbourne Academy in Pasadena, and KIPP's Northeast, East, and South campuses. Now, we have the entire list on KHOU.com. Environmental groups are collecting water samples from Galveston Bay. They're testing for any pollutants that might be flowing into the water. We won't know the results for a few weeks. People in the Deer Park area are feeling symptoms of benzene exposure after yesterday's reignition. Today, there's a mobile clinic set up at the Jimmy Burke Activity Center in Deer Park that's open to everyone from 2 until 7 o'clock tonight. Now, if you have any symptoms, you can call Ask My Nurse, that hotline. The number is 713-634-1110. The hotline is open from 8 in the morning until 8:30 at night, 7 days a week. Will the company face any punishment for this fire and all of the problems that it's still causing? We're looking at what the state has done in the past. Sherman Chow is connecting the dots.
Now that it's out, a lot of viewers are asking us if anyone is going to be punished for the massive chemical fire in the Deer Park area. So let's connect the dots. The most recent large chemical fire in the area was at the Arkema plant when Harvey hit in 2017. Flooding from the storm knocked out the refrigeration, causing volatile chemicals to explode. The company got slammed for not having a better disaster plan, and Harris County and the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality sued. That lawsuit's still working its way through the courts, so until that's resolved, they probably won't face any fine. But if they do, it may not be a lot of money. A recent report from an environmental Texas Research and Policy Center said TCEQ was pretty bad at holding companies accountable for what's called unauthorized emissions. You know, what you and I call pollution? Well, according to the 2017 report, they fined companies just 2 cents for every pound of pollution when they could have fined them a lot more. So the moral of the story, we don't know if anyone will be punished for this, and if they are, it could take a while, and it might not be too severe. Connecting the dots.
The TCEQ has fined this ITC facility at least 10 times since 2002 for various pollution violations. While we're not looking for problems with the weather and any chemicals, we do have heavy pollution in the air today, and that could make it harder to breathe for anyone with respiratory issues. Cheetah Craft is in the Weather Center with your forecast. Hey, Cheetah.
Hey, good afternoon, Ron. Yeah, we're talking about if you have asthma or respiratory illness, or, honestly, if you find yourself just short of breath, if typical allergens and pollens can act as an irritant, today it's going to be a little bit more difficult, very similar to yesterday. So an air quality alert has been issued for Harris, Brazoria, Galveston County. Typically, the highest ozone peaks between about 4 to 7 p.m. That's your daytime heating hours. So typically when we reach our high temperature of the day. Take a look here. This is not helping either. Your tree pollen and your grass pollen, both at extreme levels. Even for typical pollen in spring, this is really, really bad. This is going to be a big irritant for a lot of you. So I know a lot of allergy sufferers, or maybe if you have asthma, you're just going to find yourself short of breath once you head outside. Try to keep it indoors if you know that's going to be an issue. Otherwise, temperatures already in the mid to low 70s. We're going to continue to tack on a couple degrees from here. So if anything, it's going to be a nice afternoon, but borderline on the warm side. We will talk about our weekend rain chances, Ron, coming up in about 10 minutes.
In other top stories today, Houston police are investigating the death of a baby overnight. Officers were called to some apartments on Glencrest Street in southeast Houston. That infant was taken to a hospital but died. Detectives were called to the scene, but still no information on a cause of death. A woman rescued from a burning home in Cy-Fair. Firefighters say flames were pouring from the roof of her home when they pulled her to safety around 3 o'clock this morning. This was on Prairie Wind Lane.
One of the neighbors called in and said they saw flames outside of their window. Engine 10 arrived first on scene. They reported heavy fire from the roof of the structure.
Well, that woman was taken to the hospital by ambulance in serious condition. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused that fire. A wreck involving a Metro bus in the HOV lane shuts down traffic for hours. You can see people got out of their cars along the Southwest Freeway near Westwood this morning. Some even backed up to get out of that mess. That wreck blocked lanes around 7:30 this morning and left people waiting until nearly 10 o'clock. And Devers ISD in Liberty County is changing the school week. They're downsizing hours and going to 4 days a week starting next school year. The school board approved the measure for a 3-year pilot period. The district says this will allow students to be more rested and ready to learn when they are in the classroom. Singer R. Kelly is in a Chicago courtroom today. He's hoping the judge in his criminal case will let him travel to the Middle East. With his legal problems mounting and his U.S. concerts canceled, R. Kelly says he's been offered a financial lifeline over 7,000 miles away. Kelly says he's supposed to perform 3 to 5 shows next month in Dubai and meet members of the royal family. He says he signed this contract before his February arrest. His attorney, Steve Greenberg, says Kelly is now struggling to fund his legal defense, make child support payments, and pay day-to-day expenses.
He's got to go where he can make a living, and that happens to be where someone is willing to pay him to perform, and he can get a venue.
The 3-time Grammy winner has been dropped by his record label. Streaming services have removed his songs. Twice he's relied on friends and fans to get him out of jail, paying his $100,000 bond and more than $161,000 in back child support.
It's going to be very interesting, but we'll see what happens. There was no collusion. There was no obstruction. Everybody knows it. It's all a big hoax.
President Trump spoke this morning before leaving to Mar-a-Lago. Special Counsel Robert Mueller is soon expected to deliver a report to the Justice Department on his investigation into Russian election meddling and alleged collusion between the president's team and the Russians. A consumer alert to tell you about this afternoon. Tyson Foods is recalling more than 69,000 pounds of frozen chicken strips. 2 customers complained they found metal pieces in the chicken. So far, no reports of injuries or illness. This affects the buffalo and crispy style chicken strips. We have a full list on our website, khou.com. Well, the dance is on and the Cougs are ready to put their dancing shoes on tonight. March Madness is in full swing, but it may be too early for bracket busters just yet. U of H held an open practice yesterday in Tulsa ahead of that game with Georgia State. Their game tips off at 6:20 tonight. And we want to know, how far do you think U of H will go in the tournament? one and done, Sweet 16, Final Four, all the way. Grab your phones and open the KHOU app to vote now. And a reminder, come help us cheer on the Cougs in the first round of March Madness. We're hosting a watch party at the Plaza at Avenida Houston. Everything gets started at 5 o'clock this afternoon. And as we said, the game tips off at 6:20. Oh, yeah. I forgot to wear red today. But
oh, come on.
Go Cougs. Go
For
Cougs.
our Cougs.
Yes.
Do you know I have them in my bracket going all the way?
Look at you.
I know.
Cheater.
I really doubled down.
All right,
we'll
do
see. Anyway, but
Let's
if you
go,
are
Cougs.
planning to go out tonight to the watch party, it is going to be really.
It's going to be big.
It's going to be big. We're going big. Exactly. We're going big. It's at Avenida. So if you go downtown near the George R. Brown to Avenida, you are going to see KHOU there. If you see the plaza here, a lot of people are going to be out from the University of Houston and, of course, from our station here. And we'd love to see you. So come on out. It's going to be beautiful. We're talking sunny skies, temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. We are tracking added ozone. I was previously talking about that heavy pollen today, but the good news is we do have clear skies, calm winds, and yes, go Cougs. Let's talk about that ozone, the air quality alert, which leads to higher ozone. So on a typical day where we have clear skies and calm winds, the natural pollution that we see throughout the day, it doesn't have anywhere to go. So it settles surface level, and that's why we get this stagnant air that leads to higher ozone, which can lead to a little bit of a haze, especially for the sunset. So between about 4 to 7 this afternoon into this evening, that's when you're going to notice it. If you're an allergy sufferer, if you have asthma, if you have emphysema, if you typically get headaches with either higher pollen counts or added ozone, that's just added particles in the air, it's probably a good day, even though it's beautiful outside, to keep it indoors. If you know that you're part of that sensitive group with this added pollen count, allergens and pollen here can be a big issue. Again, you want to keep it inside and just try to keep everything clean. Once it gets inside, just try to wash off all that dandruff, the allergens, the pollen once you bring them on inside. So your grass pollen, your tree pollen, both at heavy levels. Keep that in mind today and almost borderline tomorrow. I'm going to show you why coming up in just a little bit, why I think we'll start to see this drop a little bit, but it's probably not going to help a whole lot. Mid 70s right now. I am expecting by the afternoon, upper 70s for your forecasted high. Not out of the question. A few neighborhoods out there could hit 80 degrees today. So if anything, it's going to be on the warm side. 74 with a live look from the Galleria. Here's the Capital One building downtown. There's our downtown skyline, and you can see just a gorgeous afternoon shaping up. So hopefully if the pollen isn't going to get to you, it's a day to get outside and enjoy it. Clear skies and dry conditions on the radar. I take you to the northeast region part of our country. This was that system that rolled out of the upper Midwest. That's going to continue to work off the eastern seaboard. But before it gets out of here, take a look at the thunderstorms and the snow that's wrapping around it as well. See that big counterclockwise spin? Yeah, that's a big system. That was what the deadly, devastating system out of the Midwest was earlier this week. Now what I'm tracking for you, this is rolling from West Texas right into Central Texas, and then that's going to hang on into Southeast. But do you notice how it's really starting to lose some of its steam? So your rain chances Saturday and Sunday are there, but they've actually continued to drop. I'll show you that on the 7-day. Today, temperatures, again, staying in the upper 70s. We're flirting with that 80-degree mark. I think we'll stay just a hair below, so we're tracking mid to upper 70s for your highs today. Mostly sunny skies, just a few high clouds. You saw that on the live shot. And then take note of your Saturday and Sunday forecast. And not a completely dry day, but neither day is a day to cancel the outdoor plans. I say that because it's not a washout, but we could be talking about a few showers. So if you have any outside activities, you're wanting to set anything up, I would still plan it. I would still do it.
Still do it.
Still go out and
All
still
right.
do it, but know that there's the chance for a few showers.
Okay, we know now. All right, thank you so much, Gina. Hey, be sure to stay up to date with the weather in your neighborhood by downloading our KHOU app. It's free on Google Play and the App Store. Hey, number 99 is celebrating one big birthday today. Everyone's favorite Texan is turning the big 3-0. I remember when I turned 30, and he's getting well wishes from the Texans, the NFL, and every Texans fan across the universe. 99 has been with the Texans since the 2011 draft. JJ responded to the birthday wishes saying thanks and that he feels incredibly fortunate for his family, friends, and fans, and can't wait to see what is next. Happy birthday, JJ. Jimmy Carter becomes the longest living president at 94 years and 172 days old today. He passes President George H.W. Bush. Since Carter left office, he's been very busy, as you know. Among his accomplishments, receiving the Nobel Peace Prize and working on more than 4,000 homes for Habitat for Humanity. Jimmy Carter. In case you missed it, a Selena-inspired clothing line is at Forever 21. The collection contains styles for men and women. Many items feature Selena's likeness, and several pay tribute to her iconic stage apparel. I think I want a t-shirt. Pieces start at $7 and go up to $40.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool. Hey, now we've been asking you, how far do you think the Cougs will go in the NCAA tournament? All right, 50% of the votes are saying Sweet 16, all right? I think we can do better than that. Well, I don't know. Anyway, keep voting at khou.com/vote now or the KHOU app. You say you have them going all the way, right?
I have them going all the way in the bracket. I don't know if to, you know,
like
but
this,
I'm
like this, Gina. Okay, that's going to do it for us for now. For all the good folks here at KHOU, I'm Ron Trevino. We'll see you again at 4 o'clock.